So hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq, in all his baldness.
Yes, the black Yul Brynner.
Yes, indeed. And so on this show, we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are a great people, but we can always be better. And I want to say this right off the top of the show. I've had a couple of people last week. One person, I won't name him, which was very shocking to me, and I'm sad to see him leave, but he emailed me and said that he was no longer going to be watching the show because I said something, I disagreed with him somehow, and I told him, and never responded back, that I don't recall that conversation. I don't recall going in on you. In fact, I haven't done that in a while on the show. And so I would just, on here want to say my apologies if it felt that way. And he said, you also said that I was skipping your comments. Also, you guys been on YouTube a long time, know that a lot of times comments get filtered out. I never go in and filter out comments. For one thing, I'm too busy to be reading to even do all of that. So I did not do that. Again, my apologies. And then someone else who, is a faithful listener of the show basically said that she was looking at Donovan and I sideways because of the commentary we had in regards to the sister Asia Maynard, who unfortunately was found dead, if you will, after going on a date. And so she basically said that we were kind of blaming her, which we weren't. If you watch the show, we were not blaming her. We were just having a rounded discussion about really how not to be in that situation and things like that. But I'm saying all that to say, and I obviously, people do not agree with you all the time, and I'm okay with that. But what I wanted to say is, for one, I'm not one of those people like to offend people. So if I have offended you, I am sorry. But the other thing is, we're not always going to agree on the same thing. And I think that's what makes the world go around. We have different opinions, but can we get along at the end of the day? You may like tomatoes and I may not like tomatoes, but can we still get along, right? Do we need to internalize everything to the point to where I'm blocking you, I'm deleting you, I'm unsubscribing, or I like, it's for me, and I've always said this, it's all love here, and I want to keep it that way. And so if you have a disagreement or something, reach out or whatever, but to do things in such a final way, I just think, it's your right. But again, I just want to put that out there. We're going to have a wide discussion about a lot of things on here. We're not always going to agree. And as you see, Donovan and I, a lot of times we don't agree, but after over 30 years plus, we are still friends. So Donovan would say,
and you bring up a good point. And that's the problem with our society. Everybody's got this all or nothing team mentality, like, if you're not a Patriots fan, you can't be my friend and all this other stuff. Everybody's supposed to have a difference of opinion. If you don't, then we live in a communist society.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. And so, moving into our topic, we are going to be talking about that of Deelishis, and her real name is Sandra Davis. Deelishis, of course, you guys know, was on The Flavor of Love. That's how we got to know her. And listen, don't lie to kick it. I know y'all watched Flavor of Love. I watched The Flavor of Love. I thought it was very entertaining and funny. I like Flavor Flav. PE fan, first concert I ever went to. Also, we're going to be talking about that of Raymond Santana Jr. As you guys may or may not know, he is part of the Central Park Five, now called the Exonerated Five, in which he and four of his friends, some of them he met, some of them he didn't, were erroneously accused of raping a white woman in New York, in Central Park, and I think it was 1988 or something like that. Some of them spent upwards of 15 plus years or so in prison for a crime that they did not do, and they're now called the Exonerated Five because it came out that they didn't do it. They were pretty much set up by the DA and a whole host of other things. All right, so in 2019, they met on Instagram, and it sounds like Candy Burris of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and a whole host of other things. She was instrumental in setting them up, and they dated for, I think it was like 6 months or so, and then they ended up getting married in 2020 during the pandemic. And they were married for about 20 months from that point. And so recently, last couple of days ago, we found out, because people go to the internet about everything that they're doing, and what color underwear they're wearing, what they ate last night, right? Everybody needs to know what they're doing. So anyway, sounds like Deelishis went to her Instagram, and she said the following. And sorry, but it says, Hi or Han or something like that. I pray for you to heal through this. No one deserves the pain that comes with the narcissist I'm currently dealing with. The mask these men wear is almost like two different personalities. They come in dressed as everything you pray for, and in return into or turn into everything you never wanted. They're always the victim. They're never wrong. I'm trying to read her writing. They're never wrong, and everything is your fault. Nothing you do is good enough. Their victim card is elite. I think they carry the black card of victims. It never runs out, never expires. But seriously, I pray you get out of this with ease and start your healing process. Unfortunately, narcissists do not change. They suffer from childhood traumas that cause them to be wired differently, and they don't know how to heal and break it away it, or I don't know. Just her writing. Okay. Then she also goes on the bottom. I guess she says something else. It says, this has saturated my soul and penetrated my heart because I'm not alone. I never want to be misunderstood, but this isn't just something happening to me. I pray for all women and children who suffer from not understanding not, huh?
No, go ahead. Good.
Oh, not how from suffering, not understanding how to help themselves or their loved one who suffers from childhood trauma. I didn't leave, and something like, and I can't see the bottom of it, but basically he left her. She says he left us. So she didn't leave him, is what she said. She said, I stuck it out, is what she said. I didn't leave him. He left us, and she's brokenhearted, for lack of better words. And so Donovan, okay, so basically, let me finish this. So it has been playing out over the internet, and then he goes on to his Instagram. He posts a video of him, I guess, saying he's back and he's flexing and all that in the mirror, I guess putting himself out there. I don't know. And then her ex-boyfriend basically says that
side dude.
Yeah, side dude. She needs a real man or whatever. And then Raymond goes on and says, I don't want her or something like that. It's a bunch of kiddie nonsense, if you ask me. But we're going to delve into the statement that Deelishis said from all angles. And so, Donovan, what say you?
Well, again, Deelishis is Miss Charles. Is that her maiden name, Charles?
Davis.
Oh, Davis. Okay. Miss Davis is.
Oh, and I should say that she actually, on one of the episodes of Flavor of Love, became Mrs. Flavor to some degree.
Yeah.
She was selected again over that of New York.
Right. This woman is in her 40s now. Okay. And she met this dude who is part of the exonerated five, who spent a lot of years in prison. Now, when you were in prison as a child and you're in prison, was he one of the ones that was in prison with the grown folks as a teenager, or was that the other guy?
That was the other guy.
Okay, the other guy. But still, he still went in there at a young age and was in there with a bunch of men.
Correct.
Now, using our common sense, a person that goes into prison as a young man or young teenager has trauma to begin with, because you're in there, you're innocent, you didn't do anything, and they victimize you and like that. So what I'm saying is, it's going to take that man a lot of time to heal. So if you're going to deal with the person that has that kind of trauma in his life, that's something that should always be at the back of your mind, and how this man deals with it. Now, statistically, 80% of all marriages, men do not leave. In 80% of all marriages, women leave. Men stay. Women don't leave. And, and it kind of makes sense, Demetra, because wouldn't you agree with this? If I have a side chick and I got my wife, why would I leave? Because we want both. We want both, right? Because that's how men think, okay? Until we get caught, okay? And then you guys, oh, I'm out, I'm leaving. And, and that's understandable. But we have to ask ourselves, immediately as this relationship crumbles after 2 years, this woman, did she change her behavior when she became a wife? She's still posting Instagram pictures. I'm not saying, it is not for me to say what's right and what's wrong in anybody's relationship. But if I'm going to get married to Demetra, I know I can't be going to the strip clubs like I used to. I might not be able to go anymore at all because she's supposed to be the number one. Did this woman's behavior change? And again, ladies, you guys are always thinking as a woman like you should, but you got to think of how a man thinks. I don't want my wife showing everything that I'm working with. Do you see what I'm saying? To my buddies and my friends. And I can tell you, I don't really follow her, but I can tell you, if you go to her Instagram or whatever, a wife doesn't post those type of pictures, especially with the man that is healing and, you know, being broken and all that other stuff. And I'm just saying, it's kind of funny. And I'm not saying she's in it for the money. I don't know that or whatever, because he did get a bag. But isn't it kind of strange that as soon as he got a bag, because I mean, look at the brother. I'm not saying I'm all that or nothing like that. I mean, I got my issues and all, but, and then you look at her dating history. She's always dated men of money, rappers and athletes. Rick Ross, you guys remember she dated Rick Ross for a time, and you can go on and on down the list. If this man came up to her in a club on an everyday swing, Demetra, do you think this woman would even give that dude a time of day?
I don't know. I off the rip, I would probably say not likely, but I want to obviously I want to address the statement, but I want to address what you said in regards to Insta pictures, and I also want to say kudos to you for trying your best to defend, Raymond, because you don't know what happened in their relationship. But let's just go with your statement of the Instagram pictures. Hell, didn't he already know she was, post the salacious pictures on Instagram before he slid a ring on her finger?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I would just think that he knew who he was wifing, right? It wasn't a secret. So a lot of times people get in relationships and they want you to, because obviously I'm sure he saw him, so I'm sure that was attractive to him. So now you put a ring on it. And let's just say that was the issue because we don't know.
And everybody was laughing at him when he put that ring on her.
Yeah, but it's like, let's say it was the Instagram pictures, which we don't know. I mean, that's something you should have taken consideration before you asked her to marry her. If that was marrying yourself, if that was an issue. I mean, people get in relationships and want people to change.
Right.
Okay, I know I met you and you was on Instagram showing all your goods and stuff, but now I want you to stop because you're gonna be my wife. And it's like she may or may not do that, but I mean, you kind of got to take it as is because she wasn't. It wasn't a secret. It was not like you found out she was on Backpage or something.
or was she?
I don't know, but it was something she wasn't hiding, if you will, right? And as far as the bag is concerned, bag being money, yeah, he was awarded about $41 million, due to the lawsuit and stuff of him being falsely accused of the Central Park situation. I just said that he's worth about $5 million now. I don't know what happened to the money. But
well, remember that thing had to be split up between the five. So that's about right.
Okay, so yeah, true. So he's got about $5 million, and she's got, it said, worth about $300,000. Okay, so both of them got what you call some money to some degree. So I don't know how much of the bag she was chasing. Maybe she legitimately liked him, but I did remember the conversation, people calling him a sucker and all of that, But I mean, I don't know. He's been in relationships before. He's been out of prison for some time, and so it's not like he just fresh out the prison and Deelishis was there waiting. Hey, honey,
Well, here's the thing that nobody brings up, and I've been talking about it for years. We've been talking about it for years. How many times have I said, Demetra, real men do not move in with a woman? In an interview, she was saying how, she invited him to come to her spot, whatever, and, he ended up moving in with her. Fellas, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You do not move in with a woman because when mad day comes, and it will come, you are on your way out. You get your own. A real man gets his own.
Right. So I guess, I don't know the dynamics of their living situation, but they were married nevertheless, and they have irreconcilable differences. Basically, that there is no hopes of a reconciliation.
He had enough.
So yeah, he's broken up with him. But let's go ahead and delve into her statement a little bit, shall we? So, she basically says no one deserves the pain that comes with a narcissist. Okay, so a
victim.
Let's look into it. I don't know. Only them to really know what's going on in the relationship.
But it always seems like, you ladies, and I'm just from observation, I'm just noticing that every time things don't go the way you wanted to go, or the relationship doesn't work out, you guys immediately go to victim mode.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe she is, maybe she's not. I don't,
Okay.
like, again, I don't know what happened specifically in their relationship, but she is accusing him of being a narcissist. A narcissist is one that is all about themselves, is me, 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 never, never, never you, but always me in a good way, right? And
Right.
so she's accusing him of being that. And she says there's a lot of pain that comes with dealing with a narcissist. And I think most of us have. And listen, I'm going to say this right off the rip. I think all of us have a propensity to be a narcissist to some degree. We are, by human nature, we are all got a little selfishness in us where we want it to be about ourselves. But some people have an unhealthy dose of narcissism, right? Where it's unhealthy for them and for everybody else. And so I have been with a person or two or three or four
4 or 5.
that's been a narcissist, right? It's me, 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 me. I. It's all about me. And
There's no
what
I
was you
in
saying
we.
again?
There's no I in we.
Yeah, and so I agree. It's draining to be with
Mhm.
somebody who is narcissistic, right?
Can I ask this one question though?
Sure,
Why does she have to go to social media
because everybody
rather,
does.
yeah, rather than therapy? Why do we, why does she have to put it? Because I'm just saying the way it looks is like she's trying to get ahead of the story, because when he says his part and that side dude, it's looking a little bit different now. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people go to social media. They do for everything. I don't care what it is. They go to everything. They play their situation out in social media. And the unfortunate part about going to social media, when you do that, it does kind of take the reconciliation off the table, because now you've said some things about me in front of the world that can't be taken back. It's just a lot going on, right?
Right.
And so people tend to think that social media is the judge. It sometimes becomes the jury and the executioner, because it can ruin a person's career or whatever if you think about it. But I don't know. I just think people should abstain, especially when it comes to emotions, because when you're emotional, and I know people who I'm friends with on social media, they're emotional posters. You could tell if somebody got on their nerves, or they man or they woman ain't doing this, that, and the other. They get on there and they make these esoteric post, if you will. And it's like, we know you're talking about your man or your woman, but they do it out of emotions. And so I just would not suggest people do it. All right. So the other thing she says is these masks these men wear is almost like two different personalities. So what is your take on that, Donovan? She's saying that you men are two-faced. You have two different personalities, two masks.
Well, have you ever seen that movie with or Sally Field, Sybil? You ever seen that movie?
Yes, I have.
You want to talk about, yes, men, we have maybe two different personalities. You have a soft side and you got a hard side, but that's the nature of men. But women have a Sybil personality where it's multiple things.
We do.
Multiple things. So you can point all of that stuff out. But again, it takes two to make a relationship successful. Am I correct? Yes, yeah. I am correct. It takes two. So she knew what she was getting into. Like you said, he knew what he was getting into. But for some reason, he decided to leave. And maybe that was the best thing for him and possibly the best thing for her. Because I've been in situations to where it's like, if I kill this person, I'm going to jail. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's best for me to leave before fisticuffs, come off.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with you. As a woman, I can tell you, we go through a gamut of emotions within a 5-minute time span, Sometimes.
Yeah, everything with a woman is how you guys feel. It's how you feel. You feel. It has nothing to do with logic. It's how you feel.
But so, she says these men wears are almost like two different personalities. And so obviously I would venture to say she's probably posting from a point of being hurt, because as she said, I didn't leave him. He left me for whatever reason, and so she's probably feeling a certain type of way. And so she goes to the internet, and because eventually people are going to find out that they were not together anymore. So
yeah, supposedly they've been separated since November of last year.
Right. So
and that brings up another thing. Notice, because of the COVID, a lot of couples, they're going their separate ways, because it's like when you're working and stuff, you don't really spend a lot of your time with your significant other because you're working, she's doing the kids or whatever. And COVID has shown, golly, I want this person gone.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't make it out of the pandemic. That I will say for sure. But the other thing too is when she says these men wear, they basically wear two different masks. Is it two different masks, or are you seeing him in a different light? Does something happen to cause him to shift in the way you see him, or did he put on a different mask, or do you just see him in a different way for whatever reason? And so, because when you read stuff like this, it's just too simplistic to say, oh, well, he's wearing two different personalities, but it's like, nah, come on, let's fill in the blanks a little bit. And did something happen on your end or his end for you to draw that conclusion? Because surely when you met him and he put the ring on your finger, huh?
Don't call me Shirley.
Stupid. Airplane, right?
Yes.
So surely, when y'all met and he put the ring on your finger, you only saw one mask. But now that it's over, it's two masks. And so did you learn something else? Because they did have a short courtship, if you will. Yeah. So did you just learn something different and now you're trying to say he's two different people? Or was he always that? And the newness, and I call this the fluffy part of the relationship, that become not so fluffy anymore, and now you're accusing him of being somebody he always was, you just didn't see?
Or are you coming from a romanticism, escapism thing, something you saw in a movie? Because a man's nature is the hunt. Once the hunt is over, ladies, and once we got you, and the chase is done, I'm not saying everybody moves on and says whatever, but you think about it. There's nothing exciting once the cat chases the mouse. The cat might play with it for a little while, whatever. And then after a while, what does the cat do with the mouse? Just walks away because the excitement is gone.
Right. And so let's address that because, I'm glad you brought that up. And the problem is with a lot of people in relationships nowadays, because we always hear, people don't engage in the relationships our grandparents and some of our parents engaged in. But I don't get this whole, I'm not excited anymore. You know how much not being excited has cost people by ending marriages and relationships, and you have to move and this, that, and the other. So you see something else that sparkles and it glitters. And then, so I'm going to go over there because that excites me. And then 6 months later, that is not as exciting to you anymore. And then you just keep relationship hopping and you never just grow roots or build anything with anybody. And I find that true today, especially people just,
attention span is not there.
Yeah, but then you ask them, why did you end the relationship? Or why? I don't know. I
don't know.
Excited anymore. Or I just, this is like, you really don't even know it. So to me,
or we think the grass is greener on the other side, right, that we find out that it's concrete.
And those people, to me, are among the most dangerous people to be in a relationship with, because they go all in these relationships, making people feel like they really love them and stuff. And then, oops, I'm not inspired anymore. I see her or him over here, and now I'm going to go be with them. And so what you do is you leave a trail of broken hearts and destruction behind you, because you don't, and to me, saying that I'm not excited about a relationship is a sign of immaturity, right? Because you realize, yeah, like you said, I mean, we was first dating. Yeah, I was all into you. You was all into me. I just couldn't get enough of you. I love everything you did, everything you said. And now it's like, okay, you're getting on my nerves. But guess what? I'm still going to love you at the end of this. If it's not something that's horrible, I'm still going to love you. We going through a rough patch, a dry patch, or whatever the case is. And we just need to work through it so we can get to the other side.
Right. And the funny thing is everybody can relate to that experience. I mean, there's no way you can tell me you got into a relationship and everything was copacetic all the way through. Remember when you first meet that person, let me get your number. Okay, whatever. Then the guy's calling you every day. And, he's doing nice things for you, whatever. Or she's doing nice things for you, bringing you food or something like that. You're just excited about the relationship. And then, the cheeks get clapped or whatever. It goes on and it becomes a routine. Then the calls aren't coming as much. The flowers aren't coming because now you guys are in the life, the reality of what you need to do. And then it just becomes a routine type situation. And you're just kind of like, whatever. And we can all really, I mean, if you really look at this relationship here, I could relate to this, to what they're going through. Because look at, okay, I'm a man, so I'm visual. That woman's got cheeks. Obviously, she's had surgery done. Even when she was with Flavor of Love, she was thick back in the day. She had the dimples. I love women with dimples. The woman is highly, highly attractive. But yet, with all of that done, this man still left her, ladies.
Well, I mean, but again, I don't, as far as I know, he hasn't said why, but I mean,
right. But what I'm saying is, the physicality, even as a man, as sexy as I am, that's not going to keep a woman. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that that's the situation, the thing, but as men is visual, we're looking at him like, damn, you got her. Man.
Right, but what's behind the booty, brother?
What's behind the booty? Exactly.
What's behind the booty? And I say this a lot. Y'all men get caught up in this big, giant booty. I was talking to this guy not too long ago.
Little booties need love. Little booties need love.
Yeah, but I was talking to this guy not too long ago, and he was like, I don't see anything wrong with it. And it's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with a woman having a big booty, but it's something wrong when that's all you want her for is her big, giant butt. And, basically how she looks. You didn't care about anything else. And then you'll be the dude that's just grown and mad. And, and God forbid she's a black woman, because then you're going to attach her and to all black women. Black women is black women, and I ain't going to get no more black women. Because instead of saying, listen, I should have looked behind what was behind the booty and see if she was worthy of me getting a relationship with her. What is her mind like? What is her heart like?
Well, again, men don't think that we don't care about that.
Y'all should, though.
Yeah, we don't care about your degrees. We don't care about how much money you make. We don't care. We're a visual creature.
Notice, big booties say and do stupid things too.
Yeah. Right.
Okay? A big butt does not mean that everything is all inclusive. Now, when I say that, it doesn't mean that she's going to be. She's going to come with a good mind, a good heart. She knows how to save and spend money. That doesn't mean anything. It just means that she has a nice fluffy butt. You're going to have fun with until you get tired, as you said, like your cat with the bird, and go get a new booty to play with.
Right. Well, remember when you were a dancer for BBD, and they've tried to warn us, you can't trust a big butt and a smile. That's what they were talking about. That's exactly what they were talking about.
Right, but somehow in this new millennium, y'all still trust.
Culture tour is going on. They're putting the message back out there.
I mean, you got dudes out there who's encroaching on 70 years old, making babies still.
Yeah, that's
getting
insane.
caught up in. Let's just take a commercial break here. How are you, an old man in your 60s and 70s, getting caught up in the child support system still? How?
That Viagra gets a lot of people in trouble.
I'm just saying it because I'm sure most of those men was in the child support system for all of their life, and then you get out and then you get with a young tenderoni with a big old booty, and then you knock her up because y'all men are fertile until damn near you die. Yeah. So you knock her up, and then y'all don't last, and then she all up in your Social Security. I don't know if she gets your Social Security, but she can get all your pension and all this other stuff. You paying her a bag in child support until you die.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well, again, you hit it right on the nail. As sexy as I am, I have to be careful with dealing with these young tenderonis, like you said, because I know they're trying to get my bag. I know.
Right. That's why you need to keep your bags in your pants, okay?
Hard to do. It's hard to do.
Right. So let's move along to some of these other parts. And so she says, they're always the victim. They're never wrong. And so to your point, you was like, well, she's playing the victim. I just think this, and I'm speaking from experience, and Donovan, you can speak from experience too. And y'all watching, I'm sure y'all can speak from experience. In every relationship, especially at first when the breakup happens, we blame the other person. It's your fault. Oh, how dare you do this to me? And then once you really settle down and you think about everything, you're like, well, okay, maybe
some things I could have done different.
Yeah, I could have did some things differently. I didn't read the tea leaves. I didn't see the signs. I just was oblivious, blah, blah, blah. This, that, and the other, right? And so I also will say this. We are all responsible for what we do and how we feel. I don't care what you say, because people say, well, you just made me feel a certain type of way and you did this. No, listen, nobody can make you feel a certain type of way. I don't care what they do or they say to you. It is how you receive it and what you choose to do with it, right? So when we take things personally, then we tend to make ourselves the victim when we're not really, right? Because you're giving people control over you to put you in a victim state of mind.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I don't care what it is they do. If they cheat on you and you come home and they got a bed full of 10 women in your bed.
Oh, what a beautiful sight.
It's horrible what they did, but they cannot make you act a certain way. That is fully within your control. I know some people will disagree, but if you really think about what I'm saying, it's pretty true.
Right. Well, let me ask you this, Demetria, because like I said, let me say this. Let me say this correctly. You haven't been in a lot of relationships, but the relationships you have been in have been fulfilling. You know what I mean? It ain't like you were just dating, and all this other stuff. in the relationships that you've been in, why didn't it work out in regards to, the situation? Because you were in some really, really, good relationships, and you're a good woman, you're attractive, you're smart, you got all the tangibles, but yet at the end of the day, it seems to me, as a friend of yours, it seems like you're always dating lower.
Well, let me remove this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's. I guess I should start off saying that I'm 50 years old. I'm 50. Okay, so I've been here for a minute, to say the least, and I've been in some relationships, and I would say average for, and maybe even less than average for a 50-year-old, because a lot of my relationships tend to last a long time.
Long time, right? Exactly.
Years, 7 years, whatever. I will say this. I'm old and wise enough to know that it's never all one person's fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to take some of the blame too. And even though I've been through some horrible things in relationships that in some senses broke me and nearly broke me, I still take some of the blame, because there's some things that we should see that we don't see, and things like that. And and people they have their right to not want to be in a relationship with you anymore. It's their right to do it. The only problem I have with is how they do it, right? I don't, because I can personally say that I never intentionally and cold-heartedly broke somebody's heart. Now, most of my relationships that I was in, I ended the relationships, right? And I ended it after a whole bunch of nonsense. Right. So, but I never was one of the type of people that go out and just destroy somebody out of being selfish or whatever. You know what I mean? But like I said, I mean, relationships are difficult if you have no knowledge of self, right? If you have no knowledge of self. And I say that because a lot of times we get in relationships with people and they might see you growing and they take that as a threat to them, because they have no knowledge of themselves and they have no personal foundation of where they're going, what they want to do with their life and anything like that. And so when they see you, and I'm not necessarily speaking to myself, I'm saying in general, when they see their partner, they take that as a threat. And they would rather not be in that relationship than to say, well, damn, baby, when you going, I'm going with you. How can I help you get there? And I ain't mad you making more money than me and you doing. I'm not mad at that. I'm glad, because what you got, I got, and vice versa. And so if you have no knowledge of self within that relationship and just by yourself, then you're not going to be a good partner for anybody, because you're always going to be looking for validation outside of yourself, right? If you don't wake up every day and validate yourself and say, I am somebody, I'm important, if I'm with somebody or I'm not with somebody, I'm still going to be great in every way, shape, or form, blah, 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 all the affirmations you're going to attach to yourself. If you don't believe that about yourself, you have absolutely no business being in a relationship with other people, because you're going to be an energy thief and you're going to drain the life out of that person, and you're going to make life miserable for them, because there's nothing they can ever say or do to make you feel better, because you're supposed to do that for yourself.
I'm glad you brought that energy thing up and draining of that thing, because there's I saw one thing where they were talking, I think it was the Crimson Cure channel. And she was saying how there are some people, not just women, but there's also men that will suck the energy out of you. And if you look at Deelishis's history of dating in the public, she dated a lot of guys. All these guys were with her, but nobody wiped her up. And I'm just speculating. Do you think that maybe it's an energy thing with her in regards to her relationships? And that's why could be possibly a reason why he was just like, look, I'm out. This is just, too much of a thing.
I mean, really, without me knowing any details about what the thing is, I mean, let's just say if it was an energy thing, I think for a lot of times men, y'all see these beautiful women, and there's nothing wrong. I think everybody should be with somebody they like. You see these beautiful women, and a lot of times y'all go about it the wrong way to be with these women. Y'all lead with your wallets, per se. And when I say lead with your wallets, I mean, you're talking about, oh girl, I could buy you this, I could buy you that, I could do this.
I don't do none of that.
Right. And then, so when you get with that woman, then But are you able to maintain that? Can you continue that? Can you continue taking her to Morton's and Ruth Chris and all these big high-end restaurants every week? And can you continue putting her in red bottoms and taking her all over the world? Eventually, I mean, I don't know if you're Jeff Bezos or somebody, you can do that. But
what woman would put her man through all that trial and tribulation?
Well, I mean, but see, you can't blame the woman if that's how you step to her. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I've had men step to me like that, and I'm just one of those. Listen, fellas, I am one of those rare gems. Yes, I said gem. Rare gems out there that if you come with me with your money, I'm gonna let you know right off the rip. I don't want to be into you for your money. Now, money is nice. Don't get me wrong, but I want to know you. I want to like you. And before I even get to think about your money, I want to be into you. I'm one of those women who would never, ever, and could never just be with a man, especially could not lay down with a man for money. I just cannot, I can't even see how people do it, but no judgment, right? Mm-hmm. And so don't blame her because y'all stepped to her with all these expectations. See, because what happens is, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, when you set expectations high, don't be trying to come back down here, boo. I'm not going to be eating that Taco Bell. And I'm speaking about, how some of these women probably think, but you've been whining and dining me all over these steak restaurants and lobsters and crab legs. And now all of a sudden you want me to eat Taco Bell?
Right. So basically what you're saying is if you flew Lufthansa or Delta, and you just get that nice Delta thing or whatever it is, that high airline, and now you're on Spirit.
I'm just saying, and again, I'm not that type of woman, but I'm defending the women that y'all call sack chasers because it's like, well, you probably knew she was a sack chaser, and you put forth the sack, and you did everything she wanted, and then now when you said, okay, baby, let's go home and cook, or let's come back down to earth, she's like, nah, I ain't trying to do all of that, and then y'all wanted to be mad at her.
Yeah, no, and I respect that, but it also goes back to say, you are what you attract, correct?
I would think so, yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're dressing like a stripper, and and if you look at Mrs. Deelishis and stuff, I'm not saying that he's like. What I'm saying is, when you're living that 3 or 4 lifestyle, and you're doing that, and you're putting out pictures, and you got the thirst traps out there. Is that what they call them? The thirst traps?
Yeah, I mean, if you thirsty and you get trapped, whose fault is that?
Yeah, it's your fault. But what I'm saying is, though, most of the guys that fall for that are of what ilk? You see what I'm saying? So put it like this. You're not going to get a Jeff Bezos.
Well, you can if he has low self-esteem. I don't really. Right. I think people get having money with having high self-esteem. There's a lot of men out there and women with low self-esteem that got lots of money and they get taken as a sucker all the time. And so I think we should work on our self-esteem and stop thinking because I have money, I'm healthy. And as far as esteem goes, no, you have to have great self-esteem because people get taken to the bank all the time. But I mean,
I've never gotten taken to the bank. I had to put some women out.
Right. Okay. What you mean you bought a tomato too many?
Right. Hey, you remember the old girl that one girl that she had it all. Booty, ass. Walking through the house naked. I had it all. And then she wanted to spin my bag. I was like, you got to go.
Wait, let me tell y'all a story. Donovan told her to go get some, to the store, go buy breakfast. And, they had laid
up. I didn't want to buy breakfast. I was going to go buy breakfast, but she wanted to make breakfast.
Yeah, so he gave her his card to go to the store. And 20 hours later, she came back with,
a handbag.
Of what? No, she came back with a
handbag, like those little brown bags. Remember when we were growing up, then you put your wine in and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
That's how much groceries was in that. That's all that time. And this is what she came back with, a little bag.
You said she spent $140?
$140 and had a little bag. And I'm thinking, well, what did you buy? Now, soy sauce is soy sauce. You can get the big old bottle of soy sauce for what, $1.25? This chick came back with the little $6 bottle. And I'm like, wait a minute. It was like she was buying all the name brand stuff. And there's certain name brand stuff you should buy. But some stuff is just universal.
Needless to say, that ended y'all, it's partially what ended y'all relationship. And she left the $20,000 carrot juice on the hood of your car.
Right. And look, when you disrespect a black man's car.
But needless to say, I mean, listen, relationships are tricky. And they're scary to some degree, right? Because this, having a broken heart is just like, oh.
Yeah, I haven't been in a relationship since old girl. That was what, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while, Donovan. It's time, okay? It's time. But it's a scary thing. And so I'm reading her comments, and so I can tell she's coming from a broken heart because it doesn't sound like.
Are you relating to the comments, kind of?
I'm relating to it on the surface. I'm not relating to it in agreement. So, and I feel like sometimes I have to preface things with certain people because I relate to it does not mean I agree with it. I understand on the surface because we don't know what happened in their relationship, right? I agree on the surface I relate on the surface of what she's saying. Now, do I agree with it? I don't know because I don't know if she's coming from a nefarious place or if she's being genuine, right? But I think we all can relate to being with somebody who we really thought we loved, that loved us. Because like she said, she didn't end the relationship. He did. And so clearly she's hurt. I'm not saying it's an excuse to go to the internet and try to kill him up, but I can relate to it. I can relate to it. She's putting her feelings out there. She feels like she was with a narcissist. But I think once it all settles down, because when a relationship ends, it takes a while for this dust to settle down and people to say, okay, now that I've stopped crying, now that I'm not ruminating all day long about what happened and my heart is not in splinters, let me really assess what's going on here, right? And she said a good thing, I think, at the beginning. She says, I pray you find healing. It's like, no. You could pray for him to find healing, but it sounds like you need to find healing because you went to the internet and put him on blast as being a cheat and a liar and a narcissist. And so he may very well be all of that, but there is something within her that needs to heal. And I'm saying that from a person who, and I'm being transparent with y'all, I had to go to therapy. I was in therapy, a couple months ago because I was traumatized. I really was traumatized by a past relationship. And I needed to get some healing. Well, really, healing to me also equates understanding of, what happened and how not to be so affected by that again, regardless of who I end up with, right? And so I think that she needs healing and potentially he needs healing, especially like you said, Donovan, all the things that he's gone through with being in prison and being falsely accused. And I don't know if he's gone to therapy, but I think we all could benefit from therapy because a lot of times we don't get to sort out all of the things that we stored up as baggage really from childhood, right? We bring all that to our adulthood and then we keep on just reliving a lot of things instead of saying, okay, close the legs, close my heart, close my mouth. Let me sit and just figure out what I need to do to get rid of some of this baggage and I don't keep bringing it with me into different relationships. What do I finally need to do so I can be as whole as possible and healthy and healed as possible? I think those are the questions we need to ask ourselves before we get into another relationship and ruin ourselves or another person again.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here. And let me ask the question that a lot of guys want to know. Because I get, questions about you in, text messaging, emails and stuff like this.
Know?
I do. They're saying, what the hell are you putting up with her for? When are you going to put the Ike down on her,
Right. You said you seen the end of that movie, right?
Right, exactly. Exactly. If she burning my car and
right.
waiting to exhale. But why is it that you think here you are, you have all the intangibles that you were told to do. You were raised with both your parents and even, more than that, you got your stepdad as well, telling you all these things of what you know what it is to be a wife. You know what it is. You know what it is to be a mother. You raised a spoiled daughter, rightly so. You're only one, so of course they're going to be spoiled. But why is it that women like yourself are alone? Because I get that question about you all the time. Well, what's her problem?
I can't speak for a person individually. I will say this, and
You're educated. I mean, you got all the tangibles.
Yeah, and I hold my own, but I'm not one of those women that's like, I don't need no man. I tell you all the time, I need a man. Shoot, I'm gonna tell you, I had a dream last other. Never mind.
She kicked Thailand to the curb.
Man, I had a dream the other night. I was like, ooh, why am I dreaming about that? But
L is not coming. L is not coming. Eldra is not coming, Demetra.
I was like, there. I mean, it was so vivid. It was like I was thinking about it 2 days later, like, okay. But anyway, I'm not trying. Please try to follow me in this, okay?
Yes. Because I mean, there's a lot of guys that want to know. They keep asking me, and I'm like, "What is?" I said, "No." I said I would choke her out myself, but
right, it'd be some choke fest going on with me. Yeah. But I tell people, guys, when they try to talk to me, and we go a little further into the courtship per se. I say, y'all seen the part of the Thriller video when Michael Jackson says, "I'm not like other guys," right? I say that to men. I'm not like other women. Not like a lot of women. I'm not like your average woman. And I don't say that in a bad way. I say that is because as y'all see me on here and everywhere else, I'm very articulate. Not that a lot of women aren't articulate. I'm knowledgeable about a lot of stuff. I'm very resourceful. But
you're attractive.
Yeah, to me that's kind of last because attractive.
You got a natural build, Yeah,
those things are nice, but eventually they'll fade as I don't look like I did when I was 15, 20, 25, whatever. But I'm one of those women that it's hard for me. I'm intelligent, okay? And again, I know there's a lot of intelligent women out there, but I just find that a lot of men are intimidated by that. And then eventually they
very true.
They become resentful of that.
Yes.
And that's why I always make the point to say that don't mistake an intelligent woman for a modern woman, because traditional women can be intelligent too. Like when we think of a traditional woman, we think of, "Oh yes, honey, I got the biscuits ready. What do you want to drink, honey? I got your house." That's what you think of a traditional woman. She's like, "Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir." You don't think of a traditional woman like, "Okay, boo-boo, yes, I got your food ready. The clothes is washed, the house is clean. Meet me in the bedroom tonight. Also, I figured out a way how we can start a business and how to make things easier for you. We can save and do this with the money. I know how to do stocks because I know how to do all that stuff too." You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of times men don't think of a woman being very well-rounded, a traditional woman. They just think she's a servant. And so I have issues.
She's supposed to be a helper, not a servant.
Yeah, but I can do all of that. I can bring in my own money and I can spend yours too. And, I can help grow the money and all of that, right? I'm not no gold digger. You can look in my closet. I don't even have any, a whole lot of designer stuff. I really don't, right? I'm not one of those kinds. I'm just not. I'm frugal.
But she cleans up well, fellas. She cleans up well.
Man. Okay. and I'm not even spending. So the point that I'm making is, I am a good woman. Now, am I perfect? No. Sometimes, and I will tell you this is why I said that about being intelligent, because sometimes it does come off as overbearing, right? And I've just been in a lot of relationships where I've had to kind of pick up the slack, if you will. Like, okay, I'm a woman, I'm a resourceful, I ain't gonna starve, I ain't gonna wait on you to get your shit together. So I'm gonna be, and that's kind of my fault for sometimes ending up with men who, can I just say this? Get you somebody that believes in themselves. I can say that. Because if you are a person that believes in yourself and you get with somebody who does not believe in themselves, eventually everything that's going on in their life will be your fault.
Yeah.
It's your way. Because if you would have just, and then this is what I've learned too. In my case, I'm speaking of me. I ain't speaking of all men. I'm speaking in my cases. A lot of the men are so weak mentally that they eventually start attaching to other women who tell them, "Oh, you're the greatest thing since apple pie. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, well, maybe she just don't understand you." I mean, I've actually had women that some of my, ex boyfriends would talk to come at me. Like even on social media, they would get all up on some of my comments and say different things. And I'm like, wait a minute, Negro. I know, wait, how she know all that about me?
Right.
Why are you discussing me with her? And so then they, like, if you talking to this woman, she don't even have the decency for you or whatever y'all trying to form to leave me out of it. And so what I'm saying is they're so weak mentally that they allow that woman in their conversation to demonize me and make me the bad guy. And that's why I say jealousy and a whole lot of things and resentment, all that comes in play. And you know, like I'm not where I want to be ultimately in life, but I'm getting there and I work hard. You know what I'm saying? I work hard every day. I get my ass up. I work out. I do all of my work, and sometimes I don't finish until at night, and I'm dog tired. And Donovan will tell y'all this, but a lot of times people don't understand what it takes to do the things that you do. They only see the finished results, right?
Right.
Like with Donovan, for your example, people don't know that you spent 24 years of your life doing 16 tours of duty all over fighting in wars, and they don't know that you amassed the success that you have because of the hard work and dedication and sacrifice that you put in, right?
And the ass kicking my mom gave me at a young age to, you know, go be a man and do what you got to do. Not that bullshit. She was like, you know, get your education, get your foundation, and all that others. Look at Walter over there. What's up?
If y'all can't tell that's my brother Walter. Well, we're just talking about Deelishis and Raymond Santana, but we're kind of going off into a tangent about relationships. We're at the point of talking about how people they only see the finished product, but they don't see all of the stuff that went into making you who you are at the present moment. And so instead of them saying, well, let me work on myself, they get jealous and, you know, try to throw monkey wrenches in, you know, to your situation instead of saying, well, damn, how do you do what you're doing? Because I have people ask me all the time, and I'm not one of those people like, I'm not gonna tell you. I tell people all the time. I give people advice all the time, and so the answer to your question is a very convoluted one. I don't know why I can't, and some people will say keep a man per se, but I think maybe the other issue is maybe they don't know how to keep me. I don't know.
You know, because the funny thing is, like I'll mess with or date like these girls that aren't very intellectual, you know what I mean? And it's like after the sex and everything is done, and you could eat, you can go drink to the clubs and stuff like that. But when I'm actually sitting down and talking to them about real shit that affects us as Black people or society as a whole, what irks me is when they have no opinion. Oh, I never thought about that. Well, why aren't
you know what, Donovan? A lot of men don't want a woman with an opinion. Like you, Donovan, you know me, and you've known me we've known each other most of our lives.
Yeah.
I talk, but I'm not too talkative to where I'm like, although that would be kind of hard to convince you guys because y'all see me talking a lot on here. But I'm not a terribly talkative person, but I like to communicate.
And me too. I like to have a good conversation. I like to have an excellent conversation. Like sometimes,
but a lot of men don't want that though.
Well, you know, and the reason, you know, see, and those men are unrealistic because, like I said, you can't be on Viagra all goddamn day. It's not going to work. So when you get to a certain age, you're going to be sitting here going like, wow, you like sometimes when I get in the bed, I'm like, and let's say the girl's next to me, it doesn't mean I'm going to be blowing her back out, you know, the whole time.
Like, that ain't
yeah, it's like good night or wow, look what's happening in the news today. Or, you know, I'll get my little sleeping pills or whatever. Wow, it has niacin, compadre, 36%. And, you know, you just do that. And then, you know, you look at somebody and you're like, you're just picking their brain. It's like when I call you, sometimes I just give you an update, or you call me, somebody give me an update. It's like, oh yeah, did you hear about this today? Blah, blah, blah. You know, there's no conversation. And then these Negroes get mad when they find out, oh, I didn't really know that person at all.
And a lot of times it's because if you are an intelligent person, you do a lot of reading and research, and you're abreast of world affairs and all of that. But if you get in a relationship with somebody who is, you know, and I hate to say this, but ignorant to a lot of stuff, to them, they are going to be like, okay, that person think they know everything. Here they go with this and that again. They talk too much. Yeah, and resentment was like, but I've always been this way. I've always been abreast of things, well-versed and knowledgeable. You know, I just always been that way. And I don't understand why people get mad and like they generally despise you for being smart.
Right. You know, and the funny thing that you bring that up is it's funny how they can, and I'm talking about the women, you know, that are out there in general, they can tell you about getting the bag and living the 304 lifestyle, right? But they can't tell you anything about the future and saving money and where they see themselves in 3 to 5 years.
Or
And
what's going on with Russia and Ukraine? Ask somebody
right,
that. What do you think of the
right.
Russian
Oh, I don't
war
care. It ain't gonna do with black people. I don't give a damn. Okay,
Ukraine, is that a bag?
right. Okay, could you tell me who's on your city council? Name me 3 black people on your city council. They can't tell you any of that. And it's like, okay, and fellas, listen to me if you're listening to this podcast. The woman is the first teacher of your children. So if she has no intellectual curiosity, how do you think your kids are going to turn out? Exactly. In general, the foundation, you know what I mean? In general, the foundation. They say that one of the most important things you can do for your children before they start attending formal school is to read to them. Do you know that black people as a whole, not all of us, do not read to our children? Why? If you're on Section 8 or whatever you're doing, you're sitting at home during the pandemic, why aren't you reading to your kids? No, like you said the other day on one of your shows, we're giving them cell phones and saying, here you go, when they should be reading a book.
Yeah, well, and this generation is a lot different from ours because we had to read. And in fact, when we were in school, we had to bring in current affairs every day. You remember having to do current affairs, and then you bring it. So basically, newspapers was fashionable back then. Mm-hmm. Remember, you get a clipping from the newspaper. It could be whatever it was in the news.
You had to cite your source. And,
and you stand up in front of the class and say, well, today I read about there's a war in Ukraine and Russia, and this is what's going on. And I think... But back then, it's like, this is stupid. Why do I got to do current affairs? But as you get older, it's like, oh, okay, I get what that was about, because you need to be well-rounded. You need to know what's going on in the world around you.
Well, it's funny that you say that. I was talking to my nephew last night, and I was getting on him, as I usually do, because he gets mad because his birthday's coming up, right? He's like, well, look, I've been getting him books. But he doesn't want to read them. But the point is, he's going to have an excellent book collection if he keeps all those books I've given him. But here's the thing: comprehension. How many of these athletes or record artists, Megan Thee Stallion? Oh, she's educated, but she's in a bad record deal. It's about comprehension and understanding the contracts. Why don't they understand them? Because they don't have any comprehension, because they don't read enough. They don't know what this word means. They don't know what this is. That's how important it is. You can be the greatest athlete and the greatest rapper. Again, you got to understand them damn contracts.
Reading is fundamental. Do you understand what you're reading? Can you put two and two together? Can you think logically? Can you think linear? Can you critically? Like, there's a lot to it. And so I find sometimes when I talk to people, and again, like, throughout my healing process, I have to say to myself, stop saying you're not intelligent. Stop telling people you're not smart. You are smart. You work for every bit of knowledge that you have. And a lot of it was given to me by my parents, and stuff. But I work for this. So I don't ever tell anybody I'm not smart again. Right. And so.
Yeah, you used to keep that on the down low a lot. I always wondered, like, why?
Yeah, because believe it or not, people get mad at me. And you guys probably can attest to that. They like to get mad at you for being smart. Like, they resent and don't like you. I mean, it was just, I know how to deal with it now, but in the past, it really bothered me. So I was like,
I got friends like that. I got friends like that. They'll just stab me in the back any chance they get.
Yeah, but it's like, you can do it too. I'm not doing anything hard. I'm reading. I don't watch TV. If I watch TV, it's selective TV. I go on YouTube and I watch something. I might watch a movie here and there.
I like a lot of the documentaries. That's my main.
But I don't watch a lot of mindlessness. I purposely put things in my mind that I can use. And so, because I like to teach people stuff too. And so, I don't know, but in regards to Deelishis and Raymond here, I should call her name Sandra. I mean, maybe that she wants to be called Deelishis. I don't know. But I wish them well. I really do. I mean, breakups are horrible. I don't wish them on anybody unless they deserve it. But it's a hard process to get through. It really is, when you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody and it's like, damn, we're not going to do that.
Right. And then, ladies, if you're living that 3 or 4 lifestyle, get in the bag. Okay, let's say you get a guy like Raymond and you got the bag. Why is it that it's never enough? You know what I mean?
Depending on if that's what the situation is. But I mean, you gotta.
I'm talking to the ladies out there that have that mentality. When you get a good man or you got the bag, hey, work with that bag.
Yeah, and also realize that ain't nobody perfect, and neither are you. Nobody's perfect, and deal with people and their flaws. If the flaws aren't too bad, then deal with it, because it's nothing like growing old and like, damn, I done traded through a whole lot of relationships, and now I'm sitting here by myself in my house with nobody. I could fall and trip, and like Donovan said, the cats will be here like any minute now. We're gonna feast,
Yes,
So do your best to try to, as they say, settle down to a good choice and roll with it, right? So that's all I got. What about you, Donovan?
Hey, again, ladies, gentlemen, it's rough out there. And let me tell you something. The worst thing that you can do, and a lot of those 80s mothers are finding out, growing old by yourself, it's not all that it was cracked up to be when they were in their 20s talking about, I don't need a man, or a man talking about, I don't need a woman. There is nothing sexy about growing old by yourself, period. So, don't wait until, the wall hits, or you're in a situation to where you don't have the tools to attract the man that you want. You're young, get it, go out there and get it, and do the best you can in a relationship. All relationships don't work out, but then again, are you really doing your part to sustain what it is that you got yourself involved in?
And I would say that is true for men too. Don't sit up, after you done ran through all the 304s, as y'all would call it, all the 304s like a buffet, and then you sitting up there at 60, 70 years old talking about, damn, I sure wish I had a Gertrude up in here right about now.
I mean, look at me. I like the 304s, but the thing is, I'm 50 something years old now. And I'm by myself, and it's not cool. I got a dog.
Right, and now you need you a woman. So again, we're gonna put the auction back on Sundays to get you a woman up out of here. So
no need. We're gonna be going on a trip soon. No need.
Oh yeah, because your woman is in the DR. She's like, hey, Poppy, come back, Poppy, I miss you. Poppy, bring your wallet too.
Yes. Bring your wallet. I need a phone.
So anyway, y'all, we will see y'all on Sunday, the Demetra K Show at 5 p.m. Central Time. You guys be blessed and be good. And always, we have a podcast. We do have a podcast. iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, and Podbean. And we also have a Cash App if you guys want to donate to that, a PayPal, Venmo. Every little bit helps keeping this show going. We appreciate and love all of you guys who donate on a regular basis, and those you want to, but just can't. We love and appreciate you too. And so anyway, we will see y'all tomorrow. Be blessed. Peace.